Okay, into the next game of my Ides of March 2015 coverage. This is game 5 against Legion. Got Butcher 3 for this one, obviously. This opponent is a local guy that I've played a few times before in War Machine Hordes and quite a lot in Fantasy. He's playing Veil 1 with the, looks like, 4 War Beasts. No, it's 5 War Beasts. He's got 2 Seraphs in there, I believe. Scythian, Scythian, and Typhon, I think. I have to sort of jog my memory as I go through the pictures, and the 2 Deathstalkers. Scenario here, we've got the 2 rectangular zones with the objectives in the middle. Dominate your closer one for 1, or dominate their one for 2, or control their one for a single 1. Just standard deployment here for me, with Saxon on the right hand side to cover that little forest. Let's go to the next picture where we can see a little bit more accurately what he's got. Yeah, that's right. It's the 2 Scythians and the 2 Seraphs. One of them isn't actually on its base, so you can't see it in the distance. Typhon in the middle. He's also got a whatchamacallit, one of those little 2-point solos that helps with the Fury management. Plus obviously the Shepherds and the Forsaken is what I'm thinking of. Alright, I think the second Seraph is back on his base in this picture here. Just sending everything forward with Chiller and what you'd expect. Really annoying thing about playing against the sort of Legion list is that you lose all of the infantry within a couple of turns, and Legion players do a lot of complaining about, 3 Butcher is so difficult, but the only thing that makes 3 Butcher difficult is the fact that 3 Butcher himself is hard to kill, and he can take out 2 or 3 War Beasts on any given turn with his feet, or just any sort of commitment, and he can kill Veil. But the thing is, if there's any terrain to work with, then you can keep your beasts safe. And if you're very clever with your positioning and using Dark Sentinel properly, you can really punish Butcher and put a little bit of denial out there and basically say, well, if you come to take my War Beast, I'm going to win the game by killing you. So it's really not such a horrible matchup. I mean, if you play well, the Butcher 3-player plays well, you get a real game out of it. It's not going to be one-sided. Let's look at the next picture where I've basically run forward and really just hope to get at least a couple of Iron Fang pikemen in range, although we know it's not really going to happen. I mean, Veil can just move forward, kill about 15 guys, and then feed and move back and then do the same thing the next turn, so it's really horrible. I'm glad I've got a Devastator for this matchup, because the Devastator is one thing that's really hard for him to get in one round, and if he commits to it and doesn't kill it, then I'm he's looking at an advantage there. So there you have it. Next picture, let's have a look. Yeah, so here's him having moved back, having wiped out most of my army. Deathstalker's doing really well behind that hill there. They are stealth, so it's hard for me to shoot back at them with Widowmakers or Holt. And yeah, I mean, all I've really got to try and do is just, contest his zone with my Devastator and try and score from my zone. But the thing is, as the game progresses, he's going to have his whole army. I'm not going to be able to kill anything, and I'm just going to have Butcher and 1 Devastator by the end of it. So it's very hard. Next image, running out here with the remainder of my pikemen. That's all I've got left. He is obviously able to kill the rest of them in his next turn, I'd assume. Devastator having moved up to the zone to contest that, and Butcher obviously scoring a point here at the end of my turn. We've got Gorman there in a cloud. It is quite hard for him to kill Gorman with his beasts, but if he does move Veil up and use the Oraculus, that's one way of killing him as well. Next picture, having a look here, he's got the Seraph moved in to shoot as much as he can. I think this is a turn prior to the feat. I'm not sure. I can't really remember whether he has feated or not. But needless to say, with Typhon there in the middle of the picture, he can just spray and kill the rest of the pikemen. Yeah, it's not the most fun of matchups. As you can see, I mean, for me, it's not fun just losing all my guys and looking for a way to win, and for him, it's not fun sort of doing the best he can and then losing if Butcher gets the right angle. It's just one of those games where it just comes down to one mechanic as opposed to everything else. Let's just continue. Going on to the next picture again, you can see there that there's one Scythian tagging the zone. Typhon's killed pretty much all of the rest of the pikemen. The dogs are body blocking for Butcher, so he's not really going to be able to get an angle to me there. But that appears to be everything that he's done, and I think this is the feat turn. The previous turn wasn't a feat turn so much as him just pulling back and shooting with his long range stuff. That's why I had so many pikemen left over to actually rush him with. So there you have it. Note also that he's killed Gorman. I think Vale moved up there and shot him. So yeah, this would be the feat. So let's go to the next picture. where you can in fact see the feet movement. He's moved a single shepherd into the zone to contest to stop me from scoring. He has not picked up a point himself because my Devastator's still there. He hasn't slammed it or anything, and he's got this line of Warbeasts there. Note that one Seraph and one Scythian is behind the wall, so Butcher's not going to be able to drag them. But if I want to, I can send Butcher forward and kill Typhon, Scythian, and Angelius to the other side of the wall next to Vale. If I do that, he's going to be putting up in sight and attacking me with his remaining Scythian. Even if Butcher is camping, 23, armor, he's probably going to be able to get through. Realistically, though, for Butcher to actually go in there with the feet and kill Typhon and Scythian, I'm not going to have that many focus left over even after the feat, so I might only be armor 20, which will be really hard to stay alive with. So it's quite tough. The thing is, though, Butcher is within range of Vale in terms of the 16-inch threat. So one thing I've got to do is figure out what he's going to do in terms of the Dark Sentinel and see if I can actually wrangle it. Next image, we've just got a massive hand in the middle of the battlefield, I think, checking a range or something like that, but you can see it's pretty close. I mean, if you just eye it up yourself looking at that photo, 16 inches from Butcher to Vale, I've actually got a little bit left over, but that's that little piece of wood there, that circle next to the objective, actually represents an Angelius. It's just, sorry, not Angelius, a Seraph, I keep getting them mixed up, just because his wings are quite annoying and he interacts with the surrounding models a little bit too much. Let's continue. So I've skipped forward a little bit and you can see Butcher in combat with Vale. Unfortunately didn't take any photos due to lead up, so I'm just going to have to explain what happened. I charged in with the Great Bears to kill the objective, and Vale decided not to use Dark Sentinel, cleverly, because he's waiting for Butcher to come in there. What I did was I ran Iris into combat with the Scythian to prevent the Scythian from walking forward. So what he did is activated the Dark Sentinel at that point and just shuffled his beast a little bit to prevent the drag from getting Vale in one go. So I went in there with Butcher anyway, and I killed the Seraph in one hit, and basically cast Impending Doom twice. So the first Impending Doom wasn't enough to drag Vale into combat because my opponent had blocked me off so well, but the second was. The problem being, though, that I actually had to kill Vale in exactly 2 hits. So I had to actually not miss any of my first strikes, which I didn't. I think I needed 6s to hit. I can't remember whether tenacity was up, but with Silence of Death there, I mean, 2 connected hits to Vale was enough to kill her. So this was a victory for Khador, but it was really close. I mean, if you think about it, it's not exactly like this is a one-sided game in favor of Butcher. I could easily have failed the assassination run. There were probably a couple of mistakes made on both sides. If he'd needed to, he could have kept Vale back a little bit further and actually not had to even encounter this in the first place. On my side, I could have just upkept Silence of Death earlier and actually had 3 attempts at hitting Vale, which makes the odds much better. So yeah, it's quite hard. I mean, one thing I could have done there is just gone for it and just used all my focus killing Typhon and the Scythian and tried to camp as much as I could. That might have worked. The remaining Scythian might not have killed me. It probably would have, but there's a chance I could have lived. There's another tactic I could have gone for, which is also keeping all of the pikemen back until like turn 4, which is something I might try against Legion in the future, but it's just really awful. Having thought about it after this tournament, I think, trying Boomhellers out in Alexia and Chiesi Assassins or even Manowar Shock Troopers, these are all options, and although pikemen are generally very, very good because of precision strike, as soon as you come up against Legion, it's just like not worth having any infantry. So I hope you guys enjoyed this game. Leaves me on 4 wins and 1 loss, so trying to pick up the next 2. See you soon.